Well, well, well. For those watching later, I'm going to do a little bit of an intro first to catch up so that people who are going to be logging in live can catch up. So we'll have a little song, and it's an appropriate song, a song from the Jeffrey Epstein podcast. Yes, in this live stream today, I'm going to be talking about West Ham. I'm going to talk about some of the fans, some of the interactions we've had, and we're going to have a look at some of those interactions. First of all, I'm going to get you started with a little song from the Jeffrey Epstein podcast, the musical part 2, which is coming out next in a couple of weeks, really. I'm hoping to have it out by the second week of May. This is an appropriate song for this episode because, of course, it's all about the fact of what is happening. Sell children for a piece of the pie, because that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about West Ham fans doing exactly that. See you soon.
We'd sell our own children for a piece of the pie, because a piece of that pie is exactly what we like. Sell children pie, pie, pie. 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 We're potting her and boys, criminal to the core. We do the criminal and we also do the law. We'll prosecute the guilty for the wealthy and the rich, so no one finds the bodies buried in the ditch. We're potting her and boys, criminal to the core. Hiding murdered kids is what we're here for. We sell our own children for a piece of the pie, because a piece of that pie is exactly what we like. Sell children pie, pie, pie. 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 We're potting her and boys, pause for applause. The inner circle loves us, it's written as a clause. We'll prosecute the guilty for the wealthy and the rich, so no one finds the children buried in the ditch. We're potting her and boys, and for a shitload of cash, we'll be your bitch. Sell children pie, pie, pie. 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 We'd sell our own children for a piece of the pie, because a piece of that pie is what we like. Is what we like. A piece of that pie is what we like. A piece of that pie is what we like. A piece of that pie is what we like. Sell children pie, pie, pie. 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 We're potting errand boys, saying goodnight.
Oh, yeah, baby. Let me just remove that from the screen here. Goes a little bit slow every now and again. I'm using the StreamYard platform. It doesn't really like me most of the time. Hello, people. Hello, my friends. Take these off. Unfortunately, I lost my other headphones. I thought I'd do a live today. I thought I'd go through some of the response. Hello to the people here already. Let me switch over to my proper glasses. Wow, I take off my shinies and put on my proper glasses and say hello. Courage is a cure. Nice to see you here. Wonderful. You should go and check out that podcast if you haven't already. Most definitely should. And hello, Shorty 069. I hope you enjoyed that song. That was, of course, Potting on Bowies from the up and coming Jeffrey Epstein podcast, the musical part 2. And it was appropriate for this, really. Sell children pie, pie, pie. That is the long and short of it. I'm going to share my screen with you, and when I do, my whole camera thing will go really slow all of a sudden. So I want you, though, to first of all, I want to go through something with you. So I'm going to make it big screen as well, so that you don't have to look at my slowing face. Here you go. This is Newspace. For people who don't know who I am and want to complain, if you're a West Ham fan and you wonder what I'm talking about here, you can stop. You can start off by going down to newspaste.com. There's 2 words, very common words, news and paste.com. And you can go to down the screen a little bit and you'll see David Sullivan, the profile of a serial offender. And when you click on it, it will take you into the world of Newspaste, of course. It will show you the article in full. And the article, I know my screen is, like I say, is going to go slow because quite simply, this is what happens on StreamYard. So I need to swap the stream at the moment. Oh my Lord, this software is hard to get used to. Honestly, it's pretty awful most of the time. I really, with all of these video platform softwares, I find them all a bit cumbersome. And they make you switch around between tabs on quite a few occasions. Here you go, though. This tab we want now. This is the article you will find when you click on Newspaste. You will find, oh, I cannot believe that it's not come up. There you go. It's not showing on there. What? There you go. Newspace is called David Sullivan, Profile of a Serial Offender. As you see, the main title says accused of multiple counts of, I'm not going to say that word, women and children. David Sullivan has so far been protected by the UK court system, UK police, the BBC, and the FA. And now it's time we investigate. And the article is long. It's not a little article. It goes through a lot. There's lots of links in here. You see there's these underlines here. If you want to go and check out what I'm saying, what I'm trying to prove, then come and have a look through the links, see where I've got my sources from. And you'll see there's a lot in there. You know, there's a lot about the past as well. This is one of the main things. Here, have a look at this. You see this behavior? This is come to bed if you're seeking a job. This was reported. This is from the News of the World in the 80s. This is being an open secret. And this is Sullivan, and he was convincing young girls to come to his place thinking they're coming for a job, and then that's where the rest would happen. Now, I've done lots. I'm not only written about David Sullivan. You're finding me for the first time. You're thinking, hey, who is this guy, this Johnny Vedmore character? Why should I bother listening to him? That is represented by some of West Ham comments where people have tried to basically use logical fallacies to say, shoot the messenger, quick, fire at the messenger. I don't want to hear this, so I will shoot the messenger. It's something that when you work in this industry, you're used too. It happened with the Epstein case too, because I was one of the first to be reporting fully on the Epstein case. Epstein 101, Coercion and Abuse, is a part of a 5-part series where I look at how grooming gangs such as this, actually the criminal profile of them, how they work, etc., etc. This work is not just me writing quickly down my opinion. A lot of this, what I'm talking about here, is about prosecutions, is about evidence, is showing what they've done in the past, is showing what laws they've broken, and how these things are also linked up with other cases, including things like the Epstein case and other big cases of the past. And there's lots of links. There's links with David Sullivan and Robert Maxwell as well. That's a very interesting thing. No one's got anywhere close to that yet, because no one's even reporting the base level. There was a load of high court action that I can't talk about, this revolving around this case as well. So when this case breaks, it's going to be bigger than the Savile case. It's going to be bigger than the Savile case. Do the fans of one of the biggest football clubs in Britain want to be sitting on the wrong side of history? There's, there is a lot of history here. You can go and read it yourself in this article. I put in a lot of work, not just writing down a bit of speculation. I go through the past and you see how much stuff is here. This isn't just one or two things. All of these links here show you where it's come up, other things people have said. It shows you what's going on. But I've also covered other cases that you weren't allowed to speak about. Either BBC tried to co-opt me for the Tim Westwood case because I was reporting on Tim Westwood doing the same thing before anybody else was, and this is what my job is. This is what I do. I decided it needed to be done, so I do it. There's a lot there. Some of this is not allowed to be talked about. Some of this I got gagging orders over. I literally had to break a high court order. I had to go to a police station in Cardiff and I had to say, look, I have broken a high court order. Please, can you arrest me? And they refused to arrest me. They refused to arrest. Let me get back up. Hello, people. Now, you've seen that article. I showed you that article for a reason. I'm showing you that article. It's real simple. A load of people want to say things like, oh, anybody can be on social media. Anyone can say anything. These are fallacies. That's a fallacy. Nearly every single comment that comes into me about this case are West Ham fans using a logical fallacy. The base logical fallacy is shoot the messenger. Who are you? I don't know you. If I don't know you, you could be wrong, so I'm not going to listen to you. Who are you? You've never written anything before, done anything before, because I've never gone to look to see if you've written anything before, done any work on this before. You don't know what you're talking about because I don't know that you know what you're talking about because I haven't done the investigation. So the West Ham fans who attack a shoot the messenger fallacy, if you're going to shoot the messenger, you find out who the messenger is first. You find out. You go and have a little look. You find that I've been reporting on the cases you're not allowed to be reporting on. You get sanctioned to talk about the things I've been reporting on for the past 7 years. When the Epstein files come out, I'm in the bloody Epstein files as a journalist of concern. When the Epstein files come out, the state allowed all of the people to suddenly talk about it and accept that it's real. I spent 7-8 years being called a conspiracy theorist for that and for reporting on it. I helped in research and I wrote a couple of parts of this book. This is the German version. Actually, the second part is what I was tasked to do research for. This is Whitney Webb's One Nation Under Blackmail. Volume 1 this is. So Volume 2, that's the German version. I was given that by Heiko Schoening recently when I went to the trial of Bill Gates in Amsterdam. You see, I don't sit around. I'm an independent journalist. I don't even work for anyone. But I tell you what, I don't sit around going, oh, I'm going to give my opinion online. I'm a blogger. I am a proper in your face. I go into the center of the storm, and there's a load of guys who think I'm just some guy online. Well, the shoot the messenger fallacy, that is so easily, it just falls apart as soon as you look at who the messenger is. If you're shooting a messenger and that messenger's main words, the whole point of what I do for a living is to say child safeguarding is first and foremost. If you're shooting that messenger, you're on the wrong side of history. You're on the wrong side of history. I'm not even doing it. It's not even a simple place to sit. Do you know how bizarre it is to spend nearly all of my life looking around and being shouted at for reporting on child? I don't want to say that next word, because if I do, they'll limit the amount of people this will reach, and they'll limit the amount of people who can actually hear these words. Because that's most of my life. Most of my life is talking about things that then get limited because you're not allowed to know about them. And so you want to shoot that messenger? You want to be on that side of history? Be on that side of history. See how it works out for you. Because all the cards, a house of abuse is one that's built with a house of cards as bricks. And it all comes tumbling down. Same happened for Savile, same happened for Westwood, same happened for Epstein, Weinstein. You could go through all of them. All of the historic abusers. And you know what you're going to get? You're going to get a load of entropy, a load of house of cards coming tumbling down. And David Sullivan, well, you know what he's done? He's made his castle at West Ham. He's made his castle. That house of cards, that is becoming inextricably linked from West Ham. Now, you might not like that, and you might want to have a go at me about that, but it ain't me who did that. It ain't me who went round and systematically offended. It isn't me who did all of the things that they... I mean, this is not a nice person. And I think... I think we're going to have to go and have a look at some of this. I'm going to have to put my headphones on at some point. I want to... I'm gonna take loads of questions. Listen, I'm thinking that maybe do a phone in on this, some sort of call in where West Ham fans can call me and try and give their best reason why my number one and only singular message of child safeguarding is paramount is wrong. You can all come at me. I will let the world come at me with anything they can bring me to try and say and dispute that as fact. That is fact. It's not even like there's no virtue signaling. There's no erroneous. There's no logical fallacy. There's no untruth there. Real simple message. Real simple. Child safety is paramount. First and foremost. Everything else is secondary. That, if you're arguing against that message, get out of my society. You can go somewhere else. I will shout at you in the street. You want to come at me and say that that message is wrong because it's inconvenient for you. The problem isn't with me. The problem is with a culture that makes it inconvenient for you, because the inconvenience comes from you being compromised. Just as Andrew, or Clinton was compromised by Epstein, other people, regular people, can be compromised by one simple thing. They want to go and watch a football game, and they might lose their season ticket if they complain about the owner offending. That's not me. Shoot that messenger if you want. Shoot that messenger if you want. Shoot it. But you should be on my side, and we should be doing this together. To be perfectly honest, I was thinking about coming down to West Ham. I was thinking about going to a match, maybe even sticking a few stickers around the place, inform people. But I was thinking about coming to a match and leading a protest myself. It would be me alone. That's why I get a feeling. It'd be me. You know what I would do? Wear a T-shirt of David Sullivan, and above it would say, Savile out. Savile out. You could, Epstein out. Savile out. Westwood out. You could say any of the names. Weinstein out. All of them. You all with David Sullivan's name. Make the point. Make it easy to understand. But instead, there's a lot of shouting at me. There's a lot of shouting at me. So, here we go. I just want to... We're going to go through some of the comments. Sorry if I'm a bit angry. I don't mean to come across very angry. I'm a very happy-go-lucky person. But it's my... I don't want to say this out loud. It's my birthday tomorrow, and it's my birthday week, and I kind of usually take it easy. But then when I saw some of the responses, it was such basic logical fallacies, and some of it was really depressing. Some of it was really depressing because what I'd like to see is the West Ham fans, especially the women, especially the people who support the youth teams, the girls' teams, especially, to say, that's not a culture that should be at my club at all, and to be on my side and right up with me from the off. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to walk hand in hand with West Ham fans towards the stadium and tell the guys who are up there, who have done years of systematic abuse, that it is not acceptable and they should leave immediately. Not when they've sold the club, not any of the time. They should never be allowed at the club. The people who have put those people into power, who have helped those people, the people who have been brought in by those people, they all need to be purged. Every single one of them. Karen Brady hasn't gone for no reason. They know it's coming. They know I can walk into a police station and I can say to the police, it's on my channel, you can go watch it yourself. I can say, look, I've broken a high court order. Are you going to arrest me? So no one's going to arrest me. They're just going to pretend it's not happening. The police are pretending it's not happening. The FA are pretending it's not happening. The fans are pretending it's not happening. Now, if you want to blame, at the end of it, you want to blame West Ham's top guys, you want to blame FIFA, you want to blame safeguarding councils, you want to blame whatever, you're going to have to end up blaming everybody who didn't react, especially when they start to learn. And some people are only just learning about it, and it is sad. When you learn about something like this, there is an instinct to shoot the messenger. There is an instinct to be angry towards the person who's bringing you the bad news. I'm sorry. I do this for a living. I come round and I give people bad news all of the time. I tell people through article after article something. I show them something very, very specific. The society they think exists does not exist in the way they think it exists. That's it. You know it's so anyway. We've lived in a state of hypernormalization. You know, Adam Curtis can make a documentary like Hypernormalization, and people go, "Oh yeah, that's completely understand that," and then they go straight back to living in a state of hypernormalization, and that does have to stop at some point. There has to become an end to that. So, right. Calm down. You know, it is midday. I'm not usually online midday, so I've got a lot of energy. Normally I'm walking around and I want to say hello to some people. Courage is a cure. Honestly, get involved. Shorty069, nice to see you. Here we go. Not exactly right. Okay. We gone back in time a little bit here, so I'll have to work out what I was saying. Glenn Vaj, hello, or Vage, I don't know what you, Glenn Vage, I don't know how you want me to go, if I want to say Glenn Vaj. Not exactly the big West Ham sites, but a better shot than your empty echo chamber. Good luck, but the wider West Ham United audience is on the major sites where thousands gather to talk. Yes, they may be on the major sites where thousands gather to talk, but they know it. They know what's happening out there. They see it coming down the road. And the reason why they're controlled is because they're on the major sites. And those in charge control the major sites. If you want to go and read the Epstein-Musk, the Third Culture dossier article, where I first revealed 4 days before the election, you won't have heard about this, that about Elon Musk's training via Epstein-funded courses in how to manipulate people using social media. In actual fact, it was all of the top heads of all the social media platforms. It was Jeff Bezos, Sergey Brin, Salakamanga, Evan Williams. This is 2008, so Evan Williams was the head of Twitter. Salakamanga is one of the heads of YouTube. You know, a lot of the big boys are in there. Jeff Bezos is already, you know, the head of Amazon. Elon Musk and others are working out how to manipulate people using social media years before they're going to actually put that into practice. They use the major platforms to do that. People have got to come and find different places. The part of the it's not an excuse to say that you didn't know because you were in an echo chamber. Eventually, you just got to leave the echo chamber. So, you know, I think so. Edmund Martin says, just joined late, but responding to the title as a West Ham fan, many of us don't know what he has or hasn't done. They are censoring the rumors. These aren't rumors. These has been open secret for 50 years. He started off in a porn industry that was totally unregulated. A lot of dodgy stuff happened very early on. You know, there's a lot to be said about there were deaths and stuff early on that were really dodgy. The 1980s became something that was where you start to see he's got this massive drive, and you see this with lots of offenders, a massive drive to offend, of course. He wants to sleep with girls regularly. And what he was doing was putting adverts in the newspaper at this point, saying recruiting young girls for PA jobs. A lot of those girls would come to his place, find that there was actually no job unless they slept with him, and then afterwards there would be no job anyway. So it was a form of coercion and then the R word, which is unconsensual. Now there's a lot worse than that as well. There's a lot of stories which, well, they obviously need to be scrutinized, but no one scrutinized them from the past. A lot of the girls who he targeted seem to be between the age of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's identical to what Epstein was doing in age range. It's the same as what George Huntington Harford, another offender from the past. There's those people who offend within that range, then often build up a network of people who are going to groom these girls. And this is something else we've seen. Lots of different ways to say, you got an opportunity for modeling, come to this modeling show. And then modeling show is actually a place where they're just going to abuse a lot of girls, and they're going to put them in situations where they got no other choice. And a lot of people are going to try and you know, when they get given this message, there are going to be people who at an impulse want to blame the very young teenage girl for being manipulated by older men. And that is a point where, you know, I agree. As soon and I am really strong about this. If you're over the age of 18, probably 17 and a half, you're subject to the law, sunshine or girly, no matter which. If you working for Epstein's operation and you're in your 20s and you're grooming 14-year-old girls and you know what for what he was going to do, for abuse, then you are guilty as sin. You should do time. And you find in lots of those cases, those people don't. The top girls don't actually get involved. And there's a network there. And this is where you start to pick up who Karen Brady was, and Pika and others. A lot of these are the girls who were really like a top in his enterprise and in his empire. There's a lot of other stories. There's some that I can't talk about because I'm banned from talking about them. There is, if I talk about them, I will allow him to be able to sue me in a way that he will win hands down. It won't be any type of like, it will just be, you're not allowed, I've been banned from saying this and I've said it, it's over. It's not quite what I was doing with the High Court stuff, because that was something else. Had to try and be broken, and that was direct to the High Court. But there's a lot of other things. I think people have got to go out and they got to read. So when I say, I wrote David Sullivan, The Profile of a Serial Offender, I've put lots of links in there. You can go and search them yourself, and what you'll discover is these links are not random things. They're really long investigative journalism from the past, sometimes in the big papers, sometimes from court cases, etc. And you see the pattern totally. Now, if you see a pattern like that and you don't do anything about it, and you refuse to do anything about it, eventually you're just ignoring it. You have to, when you see a pattern like that, investigate it. That's what the police should be doing. But when a big money guy is involved, what happens is someone makes a complaint to the police, they sue him at the same time, and then he pays them off. And however much it's, you eventually you need someone who refuses to take money. That's hard because that's what he's doing. He's just paying his way off. One of the things that could be a way is anybody who's been in that situation with him should sue him. All of them. Every single girl who's been affected by this should be suing him. But I understand that they're censoring the rumors, but the information is out there. Ripple Effect UK, if you go and type that in on X as well, she's someone I've talked to a lot of people who know a lot about this case and who have been personally affected in ways. And there's all sorts of different people who can give you more information than me about certain aspects, including them buying into care homes at the moment. At the moment, care homes where vulnerable young girls go. When you've seen this profile for decades and decades, you have to start with your assuming, why do they want access to vulnerable girls in care homes? There is a lot that you have to do yourself. This is something that comes out when I read the actual comments, and we're going to get through to some of these comments eventually, but is seeing that people saying to me, I haven't been told anything about this. Well, you need to go and look. And if you look in the details, the description of this video, there's a little link. It'll send you straight through and you can start that dive. What I'm doing is giving people the ability to jump. And this is what I do with all my articles, to jump into the unknown and start reading and looking at the sources themselves, making up their mind and deciding whether the conversation needs to be had. And very soon after, you won't have to go halfway through that article before you will say, this man should not be in any way responsible in any club or organization where children are. Full stop. Not as customers or as Youth Academy or anything. If children are there, that person should not be there. That person's tentacles should not be there. They will be, right now, offenders spend their time covering up, threatening, making people scared so they don't do things in the future. They're preparing for what's to come. They should not be there at all. And that's what you'll understand, is that if you, right now, and you don't know any of the information, start reading, and very soon afterwards, ask yourself the one paramount question. Should that guy have access to children? And the answer will be no. It's as simple as that. Edmund Martin, we've also known he's a scumbag and never supported him or the ownership of the club. That's fine. I understand. And this is why I'm on your side in many different ways. A lot of people, I know West Ham fans at the moment feel very, I've been trying to get through to West Ham fans for a while and they just haven't listened. If they're listening now, it's because, and this is how selfish it is, because I'm saying they should be demoted, and they care about being demoted. And I'm saying that's a perfect example of what is wrong in a culture and a society, because you should be caring about whether those children are protected, but it goes out the window when you're thinking about demotion, etc. Understand it, right? Really happy to see some of the West Ham fans here. Really am happy. Hi, Johnny. Great name, by the way. My mum gave it to me. My name is actually, in full, John Oliver Lewis Vedmore, Esquire. Named my dad was in an English Civil War society reenacting 17th century battles when I was young. He was a commanding officer of a regiment of 250 nutters, and he was on Oliver Cromwell's side. So Oliver is after the butcher Drogheda, unfortunately, but Lewis is after my pa Lewis Vedmore, who came down this way from the Black Country. His father was from Northern Ireland. They were Orange Order, apparently, but it was a lot of anti-Catholic in my family, you could say. But yeah, that's my name. Totally agree with you about Sullivan. I've not been to see a game for nearly 10 years as I refuse to put money in. That is sad, bro. That is sad. I'm so sorry for you, Johnny. A great name. I'm so sorry for you. I am. I'm so sorry, because I love football, and the idea that the football club is no longer your own is something that is horrible, because it's such a family thing. It's like your family. It is truly like your family. We'll talk about that in a very little bit. How will any West Ham fans know about this phone-in telepathy? Well, no, it's not going to be one of only. They're going to be able to see it afterwards. They're going to be able. I'm going to organize that. I don't want to do it on my birthday tomorrow. I don't really want an angry West Ham phone in on my birthday. Thank you. So I might do it on Sunday. If I do, I'll notify everybody, and it'll be out on. He'll say on YouTube he's going live at this time, but I'd be happy to do a phone if they want to call in. We'll find a way to do it. I'll be well happy to do that. I have to say, I don't run from any conversation. I love conversations. Love them. Yeah, thank you. I don't like it though. I'm always like, on birthdays. I know people around here, my members of my community, because I have a very close community, and a couple of them have said it. They know it's my birthday coming up. I'm like, I become like that. Because I watched his video the other day. Yeah. I don't agree the team should be relegated though. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to see West Ham down. I'd love to see Tottenham go down. But what my point is, and which I don't think, I think people got so emoted about it. They emoted so much about it. It's a good point though, is that you should care more about the fact that there's a child predator around. Not that the relegation at that point is like, why do you think you're being relegated? I'm not saying it's a direct religious or moral, ethical punishment from some sort of deity or something. I'm not saying that at all. But why? Why? Because the culture is not one of winners. It's not one of winners. You need to change that. Loving the birthday love. Thank you. He's already ruined the club. Totally true. What the F is this? What West Ham United has told you you're wrong. We'll get into this. Here we go. We'll get into this. I'm gonna hold off on the messages. I'll do a couple more quickly. You'd like to, would you? Because at the moment you were talking to a couple of dozen West Ham voices, West Ham Network, Hammers Chat, thousands of. Yeah, I know. Okay, so I went on a big West Ham fan channel. He's probably going to be watching this. I'm not going to say who it is because we're probably going to do stuff afterwards. I did a full interview, and at the end of it, he said, honestly, I can't put it out there. It'll get us all banned. So I know, dude, they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk. And if they do, there's only one who's approached me and started speaking with me. And he's got a load of balls to do that. There'll be more. And he got in contact again recently and just 2 days ago and said, I went behind a paywall and I did a much more comprehensive look at it, and he's promised to send me so I can have a little listen to what we're saying. But I've said to him, I'm happy to go and talk to West Ham fans. So you think that's me? No. It's the other side, my friend. Always the same. I'm happy to speak with I'm speaking to a dozen or so people here, quite simply because it's not like I report on things that they want you to listen to anyway. So I'm pretty hidden in the algorithm. I accept that. I'm fine with that. I get by with that because my job is to do the thing that no one else wants to do. And I'm doing the thing that no one else wants to do. So I would be happy to speak with thousands of West Ham fans, but they'd have to get their balls. They'd have to grow some nuts. They'd have to actually get the bloody courage, because as courage is a cure, will tell you. Yeah, you know what I'm going to say. Who exactly is the West Ham fan base is opposing you? We'll talk about that in a second. Silvertail 1947, Johnny V. What's doing, mate? Got any fuel? Send it to Australia, please. Yeah, no. I tell you, I am fueled on English breakfast tea, ginger beer, and weed. Unfortunately, actually, fortunately, it's all gorgeous stuff. 21 people. How dare you tell anyone else you don't take you seriously enough, dude? You love the sound of your own voice. Mentions break in a high court order again. Yeah, okay. So what's the problem with that? Yeah, are you breaking a high court order to try and undermine the case so that you'll be able to actually report on something? On David Sullivan? What are you doing? Nothing. So this fallacy here, 21 people. 21 people. Yes. Okay. So hardly anybody gets to see my work because there's been a complete systematic co-opting of almost every single platform. And there's a load of people who get boosted up there, a load of people who pay for it. So there's a logical fallacy. What you're doing here is attacking, shooting the messenger, logical fallacy, so you don't have to do anything in your own backyard, Glenn. Glenn, what you're doing is supporting child abuse. That's it. That's what this is. That's what that is. If you want to attack me for saying paramount, first and foremost, is that, if you want to say, oh, you mentioned a high court, you broke a high court thing. Yes, because that's pretty serious. I mentioned it. I'm saying it because the point is not because I broke the high court order, because I didn't get arrested afterwards, which infers legally that I am totally correct. So what am I correct about? That there's a problem at West Ham United. What are you doing? Shooting the messenger. That's very good, Glenn. Very good. But basically, you may as well abuse them yourself. ICF don't exist anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's what they all say. Somewhere deep down, they're ready to rise again. It's the same with Soul Crew in Cardiff. You know, it used to be Millwall, Soul Crew. A few others were the big wigs. They had to, a lot of it had to go underground anyway. And nowadays, like the idea of what the Soul Crew is basically it's bubbling under the water. And one day, once revolution rises again, these sort of organizations will rise again, but in different formats. It's usually how it works. I read about children's homes being closed down. His partner ran. Yes, but why are they in there? Again, there's other people who are reporting on that who can do a better job. Okay, here we go. I caught up and I'm coming there. Clarify accusation. Most aren't aware of the stories. I'm saying exactly what is going on. We'll get to that now. Right now, I can see my pictures pausing up as well. So I don't know why that's happening. I don't know if you still got the stream or if the stream's collapsed, but it is definitely going slow. Uh-oh. Right. I've literally got a bit of a crash going on here. Well, okay. I don't know if you can actually hear me or see me, but my screen has been crashing. Oh, there you go. We all know Sully is a wanker, but demoting the club only punishes thousands of innocent fans. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Ha! There you go. Well, sorry about that. My whole computer went wildly crazy. Something that happens every now and again. And I hope everybody can hear me. Just checking. Yeah, everything's back on track. Right. Okay. So again, that whole thing, that whole chestnut, we all know Sully is a perv. It's not fair on fans, bloody, bloody, blah. How many films made by Miramax has people seen? Harvey Weinstein run that sinking ship, and that sinking ship sank because people stood up against Harvey Weinstein and said no more. The moment you stand up, and say, stop shooting the messenger, start shooting the abuser, is the moment it changes. And the problem is that humans in all of these, this is something I come across in every single, in the Epstein case, it was the same. In all of the cases, it was the same. The abusers get away with it because people are too busy shooting the messengers. Shooting the messengers. That's what's going on. Most definitely a lot of the time. That's what ruins cases, Johnny. The insistence everyone knows while blowing the ego trumpet. No, you need to go and tell people, stop trying to shoot the messenger. Hey, Glenn, you're still trying to shoot the messenger. You're still protecting an abuser. You're still protecting an abuser. Stop it. Stop the behavior. Stop the behavior. That behavior you're doing there, that behavior, that's the behavior. That's what you should be stopping. You shouldn't be doing that. You are the problem. You are the culture. This is the culture. You're attacking me. You're looking for every reason. Oh, Johnny and his sisters there. Everyone knows. Blowing his ego. Ego. You're shooting at me because I'm telling you that David Sullivan is an abuser and you should do something about it. Bark, 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 bark. If that's the culture of West Ham, then bark, 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 bark. It's the culture of chickens. Culture of chickens. Peck your feed that they give you. Peck the little feed you give you and shut up. That's what they've got you doing. Instead, you attack me. So join by my side. How about instead of attacking me, you say, I don't like child abuse. How about you say that, Glenn? How about you say that? Johnny, as I said earlier, you're implying we all knew. No, I'm saying you may only just be finding this out. Do something about it. Don't attack the messenger. Don't fight the messenger. Actually do something about it. It is that simple. Now I'm gonna risk going into a bit of a crash again because I want to go through some of the comments that are on the actual video that we're talking about, some of the things that people are saying. I'm not sure that I would really like it if a load of you guys went off and you studied logical fallacies. Logical fallacies is a really important thing to study. Logical fallacies, what you discover is you can't be tricked anymore. You can't be tricked. And at the moment, it looks like there's a lot of tricking going on. So if it's slowing down right now, it's because I'm trying to get on to the page here, and I will get there. Yeah, walking out, empty ego, blah, 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 blah. Shoot the messenger, Glenn. Shoot the messenger. Keep defending. You're doing it for him. Why don't you just abuse the children yourself, Glenn? Why don't you just abuse the children yourself? Yeah, no. Edmund Martin says quite rightly. Here's a logical fallacy up here. Obviously, we don't like child abuse. Don't misdirect your anger at us. He is misdirecting his anger at me, and I'm saying that's a logical fallacy. The culture is in your club. The culture is in your club. That anger is at you for you attacking me for telling you that David Sullivan's abusive. And it's still going. Logical fallacy. DS is a nonsense and West Ham fans are to blame. West Ham fans pay a ticket price. David Sullivan pays off his little girls that way. How? With the money. With the money that he's making from the fact that these people who are willing to attack me but are not saying out loud on any of the West Ham channels, they're not standing there with signs saying DS as abused girls. They are not doing that. They're saying like, oh, no more BS. That's a different message from child safeguarding is paramount and should be first and foremost. Those are two different messages. You want your club back? That's one message. You want to stop the abuse of children at someone who owns your club? That's a completely different message. That's the message that isn't being said. And West Ham fans are to blame for the culture in their own club. West Ham fans are to blame for that. We're all to blame. We're all to blame in our own little areas, aren't we, when something goes wrong? Who is to blame for Jimmy Savile? If you want to practice, say, tort law, and you want to find out who's responsible for that, well, the BBC were to blame, of course. The people who recruited to blame, the people who put him up there and gave him all access to children and put him in an institution. What did the institution do at the time? They all attacked any of the people who said anything bad about Jimmy Savile. They said, we know, but we can't do anything, so stop attacking us. Listen to yourselves. It is. Child safeguarding is first and foremost. So, okay, the title, Why Don't West Ham Think Child Safeguarding Come First, implies we all know. No, it implies that while I'm saying child safeguarding is first and foremost, you're all attacking me for telling you about this. So that's the problem. That's the culture. Same culture that existed in the BBC. Same culture that existed within the Epstein case. Same culture where you're not allowed to question because it's inconvenient for you. Inconvenient for you. Child safeguarding is first and foremost. You're literally doing the thing that shows what the problem is. You could literally hear away fans singing anti-Sullivan songs on Monday. Your narrative is confusing. Hey, you can hear them singing anti-Sullivan songs. Are they walking around with signs saying, stop child abuse, get this guy out of our club, child safeguarding is first and foremost? No, they're not. That's my message. My message isn't confusing. It's one thing. Child safeguarding is paramount. It's first and foremost. You're all unable to hear that message for some reason. When you say your narrative is confusing, it's really simple. Child safeguarding is first and foremost. And then you guys go, but we didn't know. But we didn't. You're not listening to the message. Say it after me. Child safeguarding is first and foremost. The most important is paramount. Say it after me. Child safeguarding first and foremost. Child safeguarding first and foremost. Say it after me. Go on. Child safeguarding. That's the message. That's the narrative. Simple. Say it outside your stadium. Say it to the people in charge of your club. Say it to the people who are paying them. Say it. Is he being investigated? Yes. He's being investigated all over the place. And loads of the Met Police doing the same thing they did in every other case that they cover up. It's too much trouble for them. This investigation will shine a light on institutional corruption in the Met, institutional corruption in the FA, institutional corruption in the media. They don't want to go down this route. This is bigger than Savile. You just don't realize what you're sitting on. The BBC were to blame. The BBC are partially to blame now for not reporting. They could be reported. They've got the money to handle to go up against DS. They're making a documentary as we speak. What's going to happen when that comes out? You say, oh, but we didn't know. We didn't know. How long can you say we didn't know for? Try saying, here we go. Child safeguarding is first and foremost. Child safeguarding is first and foremost. Imagine saying that over. That's the narrative. Aid by that argument, those who paid their TV license were to blame for Savile. Those who pay their TV license are to blame for what the BBC do. Yes, that's. Do you know that's how when you understand what tort law is and stuff, you have to find out who's responsible, and there are levels to responsibility. If you pay your TV license for the BBC, you pay for what the BBC do. So yes, there is an element of responsibility. Don't cry about it. What are you going to do? Shout at me about it? That's just the way it is. If you're paying for the BBC to lie to you constantly, you're an idiot. That's it. But I tell you, the people paying the license weren't paying for BBC News. Because BBC News is funded by a load of intelligence cutouts, loads of other things, loads of international organizations that shouldn't be anywhere near manipulating our population for their narrative. And to keep things like the Savile case hidden. The BBC, totally responsible. And yes, don't pay your TV license. Good. 8. Say it after me. 2 things. Don't pay your TV license as well. That one you can say after me as well. Don't pay your TV license. Don't pay your TV license. Don't pay your TV license. No one's attacking you for telling us. You definitely are. I definitely are. He was just attacking. You're attacking for blaming us. I'm blaming you for not saying anything still about the child abuse going. This is a guy, systematic abuse of children. I'm saying, no one's saying child safety is the issue. They're saying the issue is they don't like him as running the club. Those are different issues. I'm blaming you, the West Ham fans, because that's culture. That's cultural. The culture doesn't change top down. The culture changes at the bottom with the masses. The culture changes with you. The culture changes when the West Ham fans get their message right, not when they continue saying the message doesn't do anything at all. Try saying Savile out. Try saying Savile out. Savile out. Savile out. Savile out. Try saying that. Try saying child safeguarding first and foremost, not stop blaming us. I call you out for not doing enough, but pretending you do. Okay, you really want to say that. I have been writing systematically for ages. What part are you saying that I'm pretending I do? I don't only write, I make documentaries. I go to the places. I've gone and I've had people removed from schools. I've had people removed from their positions of responsibility over children because I put in a lot of effort to find out what's really going on. You are a little, I'm not going to say it out loud because the video will get more caged than it already is, but you are still doing the same thing. You're basically a child abuser, aren't you? Awful. Go and have a look. Go and have a look at what I've done. Go and have a look. I've been doing it for years and I've documented what I've done. So you're saying that I do a lot more than I bloody well need to, that's for sure. But I do it because it's the right thing to do. You know, the fact is if you stand on the right side of the argument, then there's nothing wrong with standing on that side of the argument. And if the argument is child safety is paramount, I think that's a good argument. If you're telling me you're not doing enough and I'm there saying the thing that you're refusing to listen to, I think, Glenn, the problem is still with you. Not attacking you. I appreciate your work. I don't agree with you verbally attacking us for not knowing. I understand that, but you can go and know it now. You can. And I'm annoyed with a load of different West Ham fans. Was literally about to read the link you sent earlier, but then saw you were live. I'll be honest, power. I'll be honest, power. Wherever there is massive power and money, there's God complex, which leads to abuse. Totally. Courage is the cure. I've been on. You should hear some of my conversations with Courage is the cure, Glenn. Maybe that'll help you understand what I do. Unfortunately, the disgusting creatures who don't show their faces have normalized harm towards small humans in the public sphere. Totally. I stopped paying the license years ago. Right thing to do. So what do you do about Pakistani grooming gangs? First of all, should you understand what... Do you even understand how Pakistan exists? Do you even know that? Because I tell you what I do. I go back right to the beginning, and I start documenting the formation of Pakistan, East Pakistan, the change to Bangladesh, the total co-opting of Pakistan by the CIA over many years, which was partially done through the nuclear program and using Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the father of Benazir Bhutto, who was the 3rd or 4th president of Pakistan, to actually leak and proliferate nuclear weapons technology to North Korea, to Iran, and to other states, so as to shore up the American and CIA-led mutually assured destruction, MAD, which is the nuclear theory and nuclear paradigm we've been living under and we still live under. And in that way, they were able to take control of certain parts of Pakistan as well that were extremely important and remain loyal to American intelligence. And really, globalism and intelligence are linked. They're systematically linked, and the flow of gangs coming over, what you call gangs, which is mass immigration, has been going for years, and it's partly comes from these sort of areas of the world because they push people out with war and poverty by making their countries defunct from these things in the past. Then what else have I done? Well, Eric Weinstein. You know Eric Weinstein. Do you know Eric Weinstein of the intellectual dark web? He goes on Joe Rogan and the like all the time. Well, in 2000 to 2002, he was writing a paper for the UN called Migration for the Benefit of All, which shows how to push all economic migration around all of the world and basically make everybody one people while lowering the wages of the native populations. And now he worked as Peter Thiel's right-hand man for years and years in Thiel Capital, and now everybody looks at him like he knows what he's talking about. He part create the problem. In the same way, he'll hang around with all the people who are claiming that the grooming gangs are the problem. They're the same ones who create the problem. So I analyze that. Then what else do I do? Well, if you want to talk about grooming gangs, as you call them, I've interviewed loads of people. I worked on TNT radio for over a year, where I talked about all of the things you weren't allowed to talk about, including economic migration. Then I go out on the streets as well, and I walk around and I meet people and I talk to people and I talk about all of this stuff openly without any fear. And no one calls me a racist, no one calls me all of this, because I actually know what I'm talking about, because I've done my research, because I've talked to every single side about it. And I can tell you, the Pakistani grooming gangs, yeah, they exist. White grooming gangs, yeah, they exist. Black grooming gangs, yeah, they exist. Somali grooming gangs, yeah, they exist. BBC grooming gangs, yeah, they exist. Sullivan grooming gangs, yeah, they exist. One at a time, I go through each of these things. You wanna be like, oh, what are you doing about this? I can tell you, I'm doing something about everything at deep levels. Go and read Eric R. Weinstein's Great Replacement, which is one of the articles you'll find on Newspace, where you will see all of the things that create our society, everything that's made up our society, have come organized by the UN via the people who are now being put out by people like Joe Rogan as our heroes. Bollocks. There it is. You've gone from DS is a nonce to West Ham fan. No, I'm saying Glenn Vage. I'm saying Glenn. Edmund. I'm not saying all West Ham fan, a West Ham fan. I'm saying someone who is busy shooting the messenger to avoid actually and saying that I'm someone trying to paint me as someone completely different so that they can shoot the messenger. That is a child abuser, because they're just showing up the child abuser. They're going against the person who's protecting, trying their best and putting some form of saying that child protection should be first. It is amazing that we're having this conversation. Okay, so Edmund, who says Pakistanis, I'm gonna put it as big. Pakistanis abusing English girls in England has F all to do with nuclear industry. You absolute blowhead. No, I said this is. Hey, listen, the co-opting of most of the countries around the world where our immigration come from was due to nuclear stuff. Yes, it was. The most of the people who are in charge of the institutions that push into global migration and cause this migration are the same people like Klaus Schwab, whose father, Eugen Schwab, was one of the head of the atomic bomb program for the Nazis. And Klaus Schwab, where did he go afterwards? Helped after he left Harvard University, where he was trained through Kissinger's International Seminar, which was given the mentorship of John Kenneth Galbraith and Herman Kahn, who were both the heads of nuclear theory. Kissinger had written Nuclear Weapons and Foreign Policy on Thermonuclear War, being written by Herman Kahn. These are the people who got given as mentors of Klaus Schwab. Klaus Schwab goes back, makes young global leaders, puts leaders in all of our countries. It's just Kissinger's International Seminar. The people, Klaus Schwab goes back, he sells, he goes back to his father's old Nazi model company and sells the apartheid South African regime nuclear weapons technology illegally down the back door never gets prosecuted for it. These are the people who design our society. Everything's linked to nuclear stuff. So yeah, it is. It's just you don't know anything about it. And I go from the one time side all the way to the policy that comes in through the UN and through the rest of it. I'm not aware I dwell under the Viper's heel. Well, it looks like you do. You haven't said anything I disagree with. I think your message would go further if it was directed at fans. It will be getting there. The more people talk about it, the more it'll come back. Game Night, Phoenician, Sea People, Danite, Kazarian, Frankis seem ignorant to you. Do I? Yeah, I think if you're too busy shooting the messenger, if you add to that at the end, logical fallacy, and go and learn something, Glenn. Because stop attacking the person who's saying child safety should be paramount. Wonder why you're attacking it. Question it. Because those people have made you attack the people who say child safety is paramount. Those exact people. Yeah. If it was more a West Ham fan, do you think DS is involved with this? You'd have less pushback. I don't care about the pushback though. I'm going to get pushback. I got pushback in the Epstein case for 7 years until the State Department told you that you're allowed to speak about it. I got pushback. I got to people in my community telling me I was just a liar, etc., etc. Now they say, "Oh, you're just an expert," etc., etc. I know pushback. Pushback is pushback. It's always pushback when you're saying child safety should be first. And there's no understanding of why that should be that should be where the pushback comes from. But that is. I know you say that child safeguarding is more important than your feelings. I have kids. I agree. Totally. It's the most vital thing. Best viewers. Okay, nice. But the way you deliver your message is also important. Listen, I'm Glenn Vage here. You need to change your mind. And that means sometimes I need to tell people like this exactly what I think about them. I understand whoop-de-doo. I do appreciate what you're saying. Let's go through some of this. I want to have a look at some of this because this is some of the things that have been posed towards me on this. I'm just going to put it into a different window. I hope this doesn't slow anything down. Yeah. So here you go. Let's go back a bit. Oh my Lord. As you can see, I'm not the most competent person when it comes to using this streaming software, I got to say. This is from the video from the other day. Why West Ham should be demoted. Okay, right. It's a bit of a clickbaity title. I understand it's a bit of a clickbaity title. So what? People need to be clickbaity because otherwise they don't know about it. And there was a load of comments and I like this there. I blame Israel, which is fine. There's a lot to blame to go around. I've also added Greater Israel song to that. And I've also added the Schwab series. If you want to understand why a lot of our world has ended up the way it is and how they have created this world via leadership programs, then the Schwab series is fantastic for this. It comes with a lot of information. So here, Schwab Family Values will tell you about Schwab's Nazi atomic bomb program head father. His father, who was the head of the Nazi atomic bomb program. I went backwards then in my talking. And the second part of that was Dr. Klaus Schwab, how the CFR taught me to stop worrying and love the bomb. That's described as one of my seminal pieces. It was originally put out on Unlimited Hangout and it has been translated into masses of languages. It's a really important one. It makes people understand how nuclear proliferation became central to how they designed the world and the people who were designing the world at the time. Harvard's young nuclear proliferators go through the Pakistani stuff I was talking about, the Kissinger Continuum, the WEF's Young Global Leader program. This was how Kissinger's seminar was went on to form the World Economic Forum's Young Global Leaders program, which all our leaders go through, and then how Guido Goman, the CFR German Marshall Fund. All of these are massively important articles that you don't know anything about, of course, because they're not going to let you see them. So when people say, "Oh, we don't know know about this. Of course you don't know about it. When you find out about it, you should do something about it. Shorty says, hi, Johnny. I recently new to your channel. Is there a link between DS and the children's home? And I said, yes, if you want to follow Ripple Effect on X, that's Ripple Starter UK is the handle, at Ripple Starter UK on X, and Pika Pixton is a connection between Sullivan and the care homes. It's seriously important connections too. You should definitely go and check that out. I think of a lot of us, so whoop-de-doo, there you are again. A lot of us have only found out in the past 2 days or so, to be honest. And I said that's on purpose. They've hidden it from you. It will be extremely big news in a year or two. I tend to only deal with stories that people don't know about yet. I will be doing a live question and answer show about David Sullivan and West Ham soon. I'm tempted to do it tonight. If you want to read the article, there's many sources, and I've linked the article there, but the article's in the description too. Apparently there was a Panorama episode about it due to be released last month, but it got pushed back, still due to air soon. That's the BBC. That's part of why I was trying to, I mean, one of the reasons for me trying to break the High Court order was so that the BBC would be able to produce that, because if I undermined the High Court order, what that was about, then that would mean that they wouldn't have had to push it back. I'm not working. That was someone else came to me and told me, someone who doesn't work for the BBC came to me and said they can't do this because of the High Court order. And so I went in and did that because, well, I don't mind doing a few weeks in prison or a few months or whatever. Still due to air soon, which is why Brady jumped ship. Yeah, it's all going to hit it's going to hit the fan very soon. I don't have much social media. A lot of older fans won't either. It's a fan channel or two that have been hinting at it. Obviously, they won't go full force until legally sound for them to do so. It is legally sound. They're just scared. A lot of this is like, this is when people shooting me as a messenger. That's why they're scared. They're not scared. They're scared of the pushback they'll get from the fans. Really, I'm sure they can maybe get in contact with Hammer's chat. I'm sure they can. They'd want to help spread the message. Indeed. Boycott's work says the fans should leave the league. No justice, no profits. She's right up my street, of course. 100% correct from following the way. I do say about there's been a bit negativity there. Someone says sports ball. Indeed. And I do think Pest Ham United at the moment, I'm sorry, it's the way it should be. So here we go. And you can see there's obviously a lot of Hammer fans here who like this. They say, don't see how the club should be punished for the owner's actions. Police need to do their jobs. Prosecute him and force him to sell up his shares. As a West Ham fan, there is nothing I'd like to see more than Sullivan rotting in a grey room. Okay, there's a few points to that which we can discuss. The club being punished for the owner's actions is that's normal. If the owners of something are abusing children, then the company is going to get a reputation if they don't act. So the not acting public voodoo is what happens, and the punishment. It'll keep being that people keep pointing at the fans and saying, why aren't you doing anything? And questioning a culture of silence, because cultures of silence exist within abuse. That's it. Police need to do their jobs. Police don't do their jobs unless they get pressure from the supporters. So again, the only ones who can do something here are, when you say the club, you're talking about all of the people involved in the club and the supporters. They're the ones who can put pressure on the police to make them have to do something. They're not going to do anything while you're not doing anything. So I don't see why we should be punished for the owner's actions. Definitely that happens. Of course it's going to happen. He owns your club and he's abusive. That's going to happen. Police need to do their jobs. Indeed. Police need to do their job, so you need to put pressure on them. The pressure isn't being put on them. Instead, people are saying no more BS. That's not the same thing as saying investigate David Sullivan immediately. If you're saying investigate David Sullivan immediately, I am on your side and you are on my side. If you're saying, I don't see why we should be blamed for this, you're not putting pressure on the police and you're not making things happen. It's as simple as that. You've got to do something. Prosecute him, fine. You need pressure on the police for prosecution. If you're not putting pressure on, then that's not going to happen. And force him to sell up his shares. You can't force someone to sell up their shares per se unless it gets really bad. And that has to be the pressure from the fans. The only thing that will force him to sell up his shares is pressure from you guys. Pressure from you guys. Keep saying it. You're the guys who are responsible for the health of your and culture of your club. You may not want to accept that responsibility, but that's what it is. That's how a club works. You're all in it together. You're all part of it. I know it's uncomfortable when you've got to do something like this, but you got to do it. And a lot of what I've heard is that people are afraid. And I responded, the fans hold signs saying no more BS when they should be holding signs saying stop Sullivan systematically abusing children. Two different messages. Those are two clearly different messages. One is no more BS. The other is stop Sullivan systematic abusing children. Two different messages. One is very succinct. He makes money from the supporters and then uses that wealth to cover up the decades of abuse. He pays off case after case. And he's doing it with money he's making from West Ham fans who are coming through the turnstiles and they know what is happening. And they can't, they know they're giving their money to him. If they're only just learning, there's something wrong there because it should be all over West Ham. Everybody should be talking about it. Everybody should have been talking about it for years because he's always been a dirty rotter. Those two things are clearly linked. If you're standing up for the club, then that's one thing. If you're standing up for young women and children, that's a separate issue. One is vital safeguarding. The other is simply supporting a football club. So I understand no more BS is I support West Ham. The stop Sullivan systematically abusing children is I stand up for young women and children. They are two different things. One is vital, paramount, safeguarding. The other is just supporting a football club. So what evidence have you got? If you have got any, this is Andrew Bowles was saying, so what evidence have you got? And if you have got any, then take your evidence to the police. So the police are not acting because they don't have enough pressure on them. So I wrote an article and there's a load of evidence within the article, but there's also a load of people doing a load of other stuff too, and a load of other people who are making documentaries and other things. And this is the process of how it happens, how you expose somebody. This is the process. So it's not as simple though as I've got the evidence, I go to the police and the police do something because the police always do the right thing. The police never do the right thing. The police are avoiding doing the right thing. They're making cuts constantly. The police don't really care about child safeguarding. Take the evidence to the police is a simplistic version where the police actually do their job. It's not true. Please tell us what evidence you have. In the description is the article. It's a 5,000 word plus article with lots of stuff in it. And there's lots of other links. And instead of actually thinking, he's saying, please tell us what evidence you have. Please tell us what evidence you have. I've done even read-throughs of it. I've done audio read-throughs of the whole thing as well. I've done interviews about it. If you're not willing to actually go and check the information yourself, and instead you're saying, sorry, all I'm hearing is a waffler. Well, anything sounds like waffle if you're not willing to actually look at the evidence. The evidence is there. You can see, look, there's a link there. You can go on there. Punish the man, not the team, says Smokey. Start protesting his systematic abuse of children. The team and all supporters should begin doing that, or they deserve to be demoted. Now, Am I here? Is this so disagreeable, Glenn? Start protesting his systematic abuse of children. Am I blaming the West Ham fans? I'm saying the team and all the supporters should begin doing that. This is a time they can begin doing that. They could have begun doing it already. Now, what you also don't know is that I've contacted almost every person I can at West Ham. Nearly all of the people who work in the youth academies, nearly all of the people who work on every level, I've messaged each one of them and I've given them information and I've told them, I've not shouted at them, I've not screamed at them. I've said to them, I'm sorry that you have to go through this as a club, but you're going to have to stand up for the children eventually and for the young girls. You're going to have to do it. And I'm sorry this is going on, and I give you all my support. That's what I've said to nearly every single person. So when people are saying we're only just hearing about this, I contacted almost every person that I could contact within West Ham, within the youth academies, within the trainings, within coaching. I contacted. They all know me. They all know me. They all have heard me say, none of them, not a whisper. There's not a whisper. There's not a whisper. They're all scared. They're all scared. So I'm saying that all the team and the supporters should begin doing that now. Start protesting. You don't even have to protest his systematic abuse of children. Just protest any systematic abuse of children, please. Just begin it. The majority of fans, says Walter Sobchak 1000, hate Sullivan. They shouldn't be punished because of his habits, crimes. Habits. I don't know what that's being. They are protesting everything but the abuse of children. That isn't a Sullivan problem. It's fans choosing to ignore child safeguarding so they can focus on the football. And that is true. That is a sickness as part of the culture. Every part of the club is responsible for safeguarding of children. The owners, the team, the fans, all of you. All of you should do something about it. All of you. Don't shirk your responsibility for complacencies. Roller Coaster says, this has nothing to do with the club. Sullivan is a pervert and the FA should have stopped him getting into football. The FA should have stopped him. The police should stop him. The BBC should stop him. Or everybody else. The only people who got the power are the fans. Why are they the only people who are not stopping him? Really? Can anybody actually tell me this? Why is it the fans who don't have to? It's everybody else. Everybody else has to do something. The supporters are not protesting systematic abuse of children by their owners. You all know about it. Because some of you are saying that you only just know about it, but I can't. I find it hard to believe that there isn't talk all through the club about David Sullivan being a dirty rat. Do you not have conversations in West Ham? Yet there isn't one sign, one whisper. There isn't. It's called an open secret. If anybody's seen the documentary Open Secret or know the term Open Secret, everybody knows that he's dirty. That has to change. Start standing up for women and young girls immediately. You are at the center of the storm. West Ham fans are. You need to produce evidence, Johnny. Go read some stuff. How do you expect fans to respond if there's no evidence? I've written an article about it. I've gone and proven that a High Court order was defunct. I've gone and talked to a lot of people behind the scenes, but think your past trauma and sending you spiraling. Is this what it is? Is it me going mad? Think your past trauma. So my past trauma is the reason. I must be. It's not David Sullivan. It's not David. It's not the fact no one's doing anything about it. It's because I got groomed when I was a child by a prolific paedophile. Is the reason why I'm now saying the child safeguarding should be first and foremost. It's David, that is a dirty logical fallacies. I think the fumes in your sewers at Bat Yam are affecting your brain over there. That is, David, that's disgusting, really, honestly. As if West Ham supporters should suffer for the things a little pervert Sullivan has done in the past. What? And now? What about now? Way before he even bought the club. It's all right then. Oh, come on. The logical fallacy is strong with this one. You should be looking at the Premier League and asking, how did he ever pass a fit and proper persons rule? I should be looking at the Premier League. I should be looking at the police. I should be looking at the FA. I shouldn't be looking at Sullivan and West Ham. It's too late now. Indeed, West Ham shouldn't be punished for having an abuser at the top who's... It's not just... Sullivan's brought in his family, mate. Sullivan's brought in his family. Sullivan's brought in his whole team. Don't be naive. London East 80 doing the same thing Glenn Vage is doing. You're looking to blame, shoot the messenger. Again, same thing up here. David's doing. Shoot the messenger. You got to shoot the messenger. Understand, West Ham supporters should suffer for not demanding child safeguarding is paramount. Yeah, and I think he's off his rocker. I think that's nuts. If you agree with him, you go for it. But just stand balls out, supporting, like saying, oh, well, it's everybody else's fault. And it's done now. And he did it years ago, so let's forget about it. We can't be accused, held to account. So what if Jimmy Savile was David Sullivan? And Jimmy Savile stuff's about to break. And you say out loud, oh, we shouldn't suffer for things that Jimmy Savile done. But he'd own your club. Of course you're going to suffer. Have you said, get out, Savile out, or have you just sat there? Because you're just sat there, you're looking for other reasons to blame other people. So when people are saying you don't see where people have been saying to me, some of this stuff is nuts, man. Some of this stuff is real negative stuff. All I'm going to say is that you're coming at this from the wrong angle. Ooh, am I? If you would have said, okay, so if I would have said something that pleased your ears, if I would have said everything that you have said, bar coming at us like we're criminals, we would be on your side. So what you're saying, pride? But you decided to attack the fans by insulting our club's name. A club owned by an abusive man, and no one's commenting on him. No one's holding signs, no one's doing anything. So yeah, and saying we're effectively helping to abuse kids. The thing is, you're paying off your money, boycotting people, clubs for a reason. It's for a reason, you know. If you say I'm not willing to pay money so you can pay it to pay off child abuse allegations, I think that's pretty acceptable. Make a video attacking the club board and the fans will rally behind it. Oh, so what do you want? You want me, right message, wrong target. You want me to get my advertising right? No, I'm still going to say the same thing. If you are not protesting against this, if you're not saying child safeguarding is first and foremost and everything else is secondary, you're saying that marketing is first and foremost. I'm saying child safeguarding is first and foremost. I don't care if you feel insulted. I don't care if the West Ham fans feel like I'm calling them names or whatnot. I don't care about that. I'd like them to turn around and say child safeguarding first. That's all I'd like. I don't think that's a big thing. I do not think that's a big problem. I don't think that's a big issue. Are there any signs of protests asking for child abuser to be removed as owner? Any protests about that? No, the fans are avoiding it. The fans are part of the club's culture. The culture is made by the fans. If the fans refuse to accept the systematic child abuse angle of this issue, then Sullivan's ownership ends abruptly. The fans are the culture. Take responsibility for your club. You have someone who has been more prolific than Jimmy Bloody Savile running your club. You accept that at your peril. The right message is stop the systematic abuse of children. Get your priorities straight. Shadow says, at any point in my comment, do I state I want David Sullivan in my club? Makes no difference. You're not stating to stop systematic abuse of children. I can't just tell him to get up and leave. Yes, you can. We are on the same side. I personally was vaguely aware that Sullivan had did some strange stuff going on, but also you have to look at two things. Firstly, the fans themselves don't all have a say on what the club do. True, it's the board of directors, and West Ham fans can't just turn around and show a banner saying that the owner is a predator, that it just wouldn't happen. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. West Ham fans are not silent about it and are willing to just roll over. They are. We have been singing chants about him. Yes, but you're not been singing chants, including one that literally ends with the shouting, David Sullivan is a sex offender. Okay, you've got a range of chants, and one of them ends with, and I'm saying that end should be the beginning, middle, and end. I'm saying that you don't understand that, and that's part of a culture thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the culture at the club has to change. You have to be saying your priorities has to be right. You have to sing a song, and it has to go, David Sullivan's a sex offender. 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 That's it. There's no beginning that's different. There's no middle that's different. And there's no sticking that just on the end. And that is very symbolic that one of many chants ends with the point that should be paramount, should be first and foremost. You have no point because this isn't an argument. I'm simply telling you that you have done a good thing in the worst possible way. Sorry, nothing is happening still. Nothing is happening. Also, I just want to say thanks for educating me more about David's wrongdoings. No position of power should put anybody above the law. Shadow VG7EP, I accept. I really, I would love to have a conversation with you. If you want to come on, eventually, when I do a phone in, and that should be done in the next week, I'll let my birthday go by first. We do some sort of call in. You're happy to come on and say it either way, but understand the point I'm going to use is almost impenetrable. It's almost impenetrable. I'm saying that everything, it should be first and foremost. Even the title of this video, why don't West Ham fans actually think that child safeguarding should be first and foremost? That's the point I keep making, and it's really interesting that some people don't understand it. There's a lot of anger about that. My experience as a gymnastic coach is that people are getting too scared of touching children, so they are getting too scared to catch the kids when they fall over. I just need common sense. I don't think this person really got what we're talking about. And we would have benefited so much from being able to film in the gym back in the 90s, but now coaches are too scared to film one gymnast in case a sensitive child gets caught up on camera. Dude, we're talking about the systematic abuse. David Sullivan has been targeting children for 5 decades. The argument you're making is not the issue. The issue is systematic child abuse. This is a ridiculously dumb take, says Lewis4929. Ridiculously dumb take, of course. We really live in such strange times when any old donut can have a social platform. Like, he's Lewis4929 wants only certain people to have a voice out in public. And this old donut, odd donut, I think he went with odd donut. I changed it. This odd donut has been writing about sexual offenders in detail for over a decade on multiple platforms, and constantly encounter people like you who don't see the importance of child safeguarding and agree to turn the other cheek while abuse is happening. You're a perfect example of the same culture which led to Savile and Epstein. Go actually read my work before thinking you know who I am and stop defending sex offenders. That's really odd. How am I defending sex offender? Listen to how moronic you sound. Your approach here is a solution is very emotionally charged. Of course it is. It makes no sense at all. No sense at all. Child safeguarding, the fact there's an abuser running the club, and the club has youth academies, youth projects. Most of the fans are young people. And that makes no sense at all to Lewis. Lewis doesn't understand how he's defending sex offenders. He doesn't even understand it. He doesn't understand it on a very basic level. I sound moronic to him, and no, what I say makes no sense at all. Just repeating, you need to be demoted. I did not say just repeat that, but it does. You probably do need to be demoted if this is going to be the culture. I think there needs to be a reckoning at West Ham, and the point of being demoted is that it gives every club a reckoning. I would still prefer to see Tottenham demoted and to see West Ham fans holding signs saying, get this child abuser out of our club. You realize this guy is a billionaire and earns about 40% of the club. Mm-hmm. Diluting this asset wouldn't make him suddenly become cash poor and unable to pay for good PR and legal counsel. Yet 1 million or more fans would suffer with your solution. So 1 million or more fans, this is the point he's making. 1 million or more fans would suffer if you got rid of David Sullivan because he owns 40% of the club. You're listening. You, as West Ham fans, you got to listen to your own fans too. Keep the abuser in power because he owns so much of a club that it would negatively affect the fans. Keep the culture in there. Keep covering it up. I'm not sure if you guys actually read some of these comments or if you understand them. If you're defending that, that's crazy. You should really think about what you say. The guy is a parasite. And if the claims are true, I've read them too. I hope he gets the book thrown at him. But your approach here is coming at it the wrong angle. It's not. Lewis, I'm sorry, you're definitely getting a thumbs down from me there. That's for sure. Glenn, there you are. Much as I sympathize with you and hate what has happened to you, on a guttural level, I'm sorry, but you are very wrong to take the page straight out of their playbook, victim shaming. What? The vast majority of West Ham fans do not carry your level of cultural savvy or intellect to have done enough. I don't know what that means. And again, you're trying to make it, again, about myself when you should just be like, come on, stop with the abuse. They are classic innocent victims of an abuser. They are not aware of the start of it, let alone the depth. Neither are you. He is protected, but not by who you think. A platform like yours comes innate responsibility. If you can lead, do so, but do the right way. Lead by example. He says we, the loyals, a dog, paying customers are the real problem, never satisfied. You think we deserve better than him, Johnny? Look at yourself, mate. Give this one a rethink. I hope it now doesn't sit right with you. If you can help victims, don't damn us, mate. We deserve better. Cheers. Mate, you've got to stand up for the kids in your club. You have the choice. Stand up for children and young people at your club with strong safeguarding, or you can find any and all excuses to shoot the messenger, which is what you're doing here. I haven't done anything wrong. I've detailed David Sullivan's history, written about it, purposely broken a high court order to prove it was defunct, and I've made various videos about it. What are you doing? You're telling me to shut up. It's a culture of silence. That's you. Same culture I've seen in case after case. Savile out, Epstein out, Sullivan out. Stop being a coward. Do the right thing. And Glenn, you're really angry about it. Let's examine the dishonesty central to this piece then, okay? Everybody knows. No, everybody does not know. So you're going to remain with people not knowing? Were someone to come at you with that, you would destroy them. The claim that 30-odd thousand people would be homogeneously linked in that way. You go. West Ham fans don't know that David Sullivan's a dirty rotter. Are you seriously trying to tell me that? I know you can say that and pretend because I can't read your mind, but you got to be nuts to think that anybody in West Ham is totally clueless. I've heard this a couple of times today that the fans don't know. We're only just find out. Okay, maybe there's, say, 40% of the fan base are only just discovering about it, they should be up in arms. You should be up in arms. The rest of them, they know perfectly well. The majority of the fans have talked about David Sullivan over and over again, talked about the ownership of the club over and over again. They sit round in pubs talking about it. You really think I'm going to believe that no one, and you say that 30,000 people could be homogeneously linked in that way. What do you think a football club is? They sit round talking about everything. If they're not having the conversations, then why not? Is that because of your fan channels not having the conversation? Is it because of the influencers out there, the West Ham influencers, not having these conversations? Why are they not having these conversations? Are they not having these conversations because it does not pay? Are they not having these conversations because you will attack them? Are they not having these conversations because they are unpopular conversations to have, but they need to be had? So why don't the majority of people know this, if you think the majority of people don't know this? Is that a culture? Yes, it is. How do you tackle that? By breaking that. By coming out and saying to you, look at what's happening. Look at what's happening at West Ham. Look at all of this. Do something about it. And you're still attacking at me. You're still going with it. I would enjoy reading your erudite flailing of the flimsy flesh that weak source. I'm not going to continue reading this because, Glenn, we've already had enough of interactions. And again, we'll finish with a final logical fallacy. Billy Sollock said, this fella's a Spurs fan by any chance? I said, not at all. I'm a Cardiff City fan first, which of course is true. A Man United fan second, which of course is true. And a West Ham fan third, which is true. Well, you might not like it, but it's true. A lot of my friends think I'd be nuts for decades because I've supported West Ham on the side. Always have been. However, I think you should be up in arms about prolific child abuser running your club. It seems like you want to use logical fallacies to weaken my credibility rather than tackle the issue of a child abuser. Your priorities are totally in line with the protection of child abusers, not the protection of children. That's what I'm trying to explain. Firstly, West Ham is not my club. And my allegiance would suggest I would be the last person to defend West Ham. If you're being a fan of no less than 3 clubs would suggest you don't really understand what being a football supporter is about, which probably undermines your credibility. I found that amazing because I had a load of conversations about it yesterday with a few people. Really interesting because I asked a few people in my neighborhood, am I different? Am I different from that? Because I asked a few people which football teams they support, and one told me, I support Arsenal mostly, and I was like, oh, who else do you support? And they were like, well, support the Cobblers because I lived down that way back in the day. Who else do you support? Oh, well, I kind of like Burton Albion's kit, so I supported them for a bit. And I kept having this over and over again because people, they have their home team, they have their Premier League team, and then they sometimes have a third team, and then they have their national team. Tends to be the way it is. Sometimes, like when I lived in France, I lived in Lyon, so I supported Lyon at the time. It was easy to support them because they had like they were winning everything at the time. It was back then. But I supported Lyon because I lived in Lyon. Why not? And I'm living in the place, hang around with the fans, blah, 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 blah. But it is normal for people to have. So this, again, you want to undermine my credibility by saying that because I have a bit of love for West Ham and I also support my hometown and I have a Premier League team that I don't understand football. I don't think this person understands football. No doubt there should be an investigation into slimy individual and action taken. Unlikely due to his political and law enforcement connections, though, so it's fine. However, you failed to outline any sustainable argument to why the club, its players, and supporters should be punished for alleged actions of one man. West Ham has not been found to be complicit in this matter or of any other wrongdoing. I'm saying if you don't put child safeguarding first and foremost, then that's it, basically. There's a load of shouting over that backwards and forwards. And I'll go back a little bit to the chat, but that is a lot of people who are pretty much pissed off with me. This message here, right message, wrong target, exactly. No, you're all part of it. You're all part of the culture. You're all part. There's a lot of this. If you don't get right, let me just make this screen bigger so I can actually see it. If you don't, if I get you don't care, but it is right messaging, wrong target. I haven't given the club money since we left Upton Park, by the way. Fine, but it isn't the wrong target. It literally is going to be the fans who will change this. It will be the fans. It will be the fans. I don't know quite where we were when I actually started that. So there's been a lot of comments since then. And I can't go through them all because it's going to take too long anyway. That's where I crashed. So I see that. And I'm just gonna go down a little bit, and I think I'm about here. And we'll start about here. Have any of the alleged victims come forward? Yes, multiple have talked, multiple have pressed charges. No further action has been issued by the police on a number of occasions, and that is likely to change soon, but that only changes with pressure. All you fans know, but as a journalist, I say I couldn't get one word out of one of them. Your antagonism to people you claim to want, need on side, the fans, is worse than misguided. It's counterproductive. It's because I'm telling you that you should be standing up for children, and that is currently not happening. And instead of going on to stand up for children, you're still not doing it. Seriously, that's a culture. That's part of the culture. You don't understand what culture is. And the whole right message, wrong target, no, is completely the right target. The target is, it changes. It's the people in the club, the actual supporters who change. You're to blame if you sent a letter by Royal Mail because the owner sits on the West Ham United board with DS, so you're basically a nonce too. Well, lucky I haven't sent a letter by Royal Mail. There you go. But if the director of the letter by Royal, because the owner of Royal Mail, what you're talking about, the Queen or King? You talking about who you talking about? Who's he? Can you tell me who the owner of Royal Mail is, please, Edmund? I'm not sure you understand that, but you explain who the owner of Royal Mail is. Because you acknowledge a lot of us didn't know. Still feels like you're blaming us. I will spread the word from now on. Listen, I do feel we got to get over this. Yeah, I'm blaming the majority, maybe 55% of fans who know more better should be shouting about it, and the ones who don't know anything about it, the minority, large minority, 45%. Well, if they're only just learning about it now, dry those tears away. Don't shout at me. Shout out loud. Do it at West Ham. Fight for the kids, would you? Fight for the kids. Is a lot of this is just there you go. Blah, 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 blah. I appreciate some messages are too important to worry about its delivery. Yeah, but some messages are too important to worry about its delivery. So stop worrying about how I'm delivering the message to you. It's too important. Just go and do it. Just do it. I'm not saying anything out of bounds. I'm not saying anything that's like gonna bring me money and wealth and power and fame. I'm saying child safeguard first and foremost. Child safeguarding first and foremost. You spent the video that's about that called Why Don't West Ham Fans Think Child Safeguarding Come First. You spent that telling me loads of reasons why. That's the culture. It's West Ham. It's all of you. You have to take responsibility for the culture you exist in. You can say you're blaming us. It's a fact. It is astonishing people are upset about immigrant grape gangs, but not football clubs with PDF files. I think we all know what that means, Coach. It's before my time, Glenn. Blah, 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 blah. Haters be forever blowing bubbles up their own asses, Johnny Vedmore. Tim Hinchcliffe. If you want to know about someone who I've worked with in the past, who I love very much, Tim Hinchcliffe of sociable.co, fantastic fella. You should maybe go and watch our Truth Bombs. There's a load of stuff in there. It's a quiz show where we question AI's official narrative in a really good way. The Tim Hinchcliffe episodes are fantastic. Great fun. He's a beautiful man. We've done a lot together. Beautiful. Nice to see you. I did send you a message the other day. I sent you an email with Dan Fournier in as well. Another man who fights against this sort of stuff. Glenn, I'm sorry, but you come back when you're not on their side. Come back when you're on the right side. Just come back when you're on the right side. I get what he's doing. I don't agree with the clickbait, but I can't disagree with what he's saying. Well, the clickbait is factual information. Why are West Ham fans shouting at me and not shouting at Sullivan? It's as simple as that. Simple as that. Leeds fan getting abuse about Jimmy Savile like it's their fault. Getting ready, West Ham fan. Well, Jimmy Savile didn't own Leeds. Jimmy Savile didn't own Leeds. Jimmy Savile did not own Leeds. It's not the same thing. What you're doing there, it's another logical fallacy though. It's called whataboutism. What about this separate thing that isn't the same thing? That's like our thing, and that's why, because that thing wasn't true, this thing isn't true. It's a logical fallacy. It's called whataboutism. That's, if you type in whataboutism, it'll say logical fallacy and it'll describe what you're doing there. Leeds were not owned by Jimmy Savile. David Sullivan owns West Ham. His family are part of the culture in there. You got to be not looking for reasons why you can attack me with whataboutism or shooting the messenger. You got to start attacking at home. It was all of Chris. I was helping DS decades before. Blah 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 blah. Whoop-dee. If this rage baiting is strategic, then fair enough. But I don't think it is. What, you don't think this is strategic rage baiting? Well, you don't think that me telling you what you're doing, what you're literally doing, attacking you still. But I don't think it is. You're looking for a reason why to shoot the messenger. You're still doing it. So it's not rage baiting. It's pointing out exactly what you're doing, which is the point. You should be enraged with yourself and what you're doing. Fact. Whoop-de-doo. I don't know, Ed. We don't have to like the messenger to get out the message. I love West Ham, but I'd hate the man more for being a child abuse, etc., than effing up our club. Hey, I'm willing to go down to West Ham and meet with you outside the club. I'm willing to go to a game, but I tell you, I won't get through the gate, won't get through the turnstile, because I'll come with stickers, and then people would know. But West Ham fans should be doing that. West Ham fans, if I went to West Ham, I would go with a picture of David Sullivan on a t-shirt saying Savile out. Yeah, and I put around loads of stickers with QR codes that lead to the David Sullivan article so people can learn about it themselves and go and read it themselves. And I'd put them all around the place and say, DS needs to go, DS needs to go, Savile out, Savile out, Savile out. Put it all around the place. I'd like to. They're not going to let me through the door, because I've contacted every single person who works in West Ham. What have you guys done? Come on. Come on. If we're going to do a bit of whataboutism, what about you? What have you done to get DS out? Answer me that whoop-de-doo. Answer me that Edmund. Answer me that anybody. What have you done? Have you just talked about it, waited for someone else to do it, suggested the police should do it, suggested the FA should do it, suggested that everybody else should do it? What have you done? You're the guys who are going there. For the guys who go there, not the guys who stopped going there years ago. What have you done? You can do something. You're down at the club. If you want me to go to the club, I'll come down. You want me to come? I'll come. I'll come meet you guys. And to be honest, both West Ham and Kettering Town fan, yes, of course you are. Of course you are. Hey, there's a few more football clubs that I supported in the past as well. So, I mean, Telford. Shh, don't tell anybody about that. My second team is Millwall Reserves. That is messed up. Innocent man. You should be sent down for Millwall Reserves. No, I always liked the Millwall boys just because of the Soul Crew. None of us disagree. Just don't appreciate the accusation of complicity. Then stop being complicit. It only changes. I know you're saying every time I say that, you feel like offended, but silence. Culture, a culture of silence. The way to change that is by opening your mouths and saying something. Just saying something. That's weird, mate, until the resistance. Yeah. Sullivan has to be in prison. Oh my God. You are a beautiful man. Hey, you know what? If that had been what people were saying all the way down here, I'd be so happy right now. None of us would be arguing. And we'd be like, Sullivan has to be in prison. Sullivan has to go down. Damn, if there were people standing outside and not saying DS out, or BS, or no BS, or chanting the songs that just end with a slight little accusation here or there, but we're making it plain and simple, the police would have to do something about it. The FA would have to do something about it. There'd have to be an inquiry within the club. Damn, you should ask, are the children safe at West Ham? Because you're assuming that they are. You should be going and making sure they are. Totally. Good. I'm not saying you're not, but I'd like to see it because I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what that means. Wasn't Saville an honorary member of the board at Leeds? Yeah, maybe he was an honorary member, but he didn't own the club. If he was an honorary member, that's not a surprise. And bloody hell, all of the people who gave him any type of place should have been the people, Leeds fans, same for them. They should have been saying something at the time. There was probably a fair few people who did, but they should have been saying something at the time. People who worked in the BBC while Saville was there should be saying it when it's unpopular, not just when it's popular. That's what I do for a living. I say it when it's unpopular. It's unpopular right now. It's about so-and-so being associated with a club. It's irrelevant whether he's owner or not. Guilty by association. No, it's not. Each one is different. It is massively different. He's associated with a club. It saying you're Chris Brown. You're saying it's irrelevant that David Sullivan owns it. If he was associated with a club, that would be different. I would understand you saying, "Oh, you can't use that." That would be a logical fallacy. It would be guilty by association. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he owns the club. He's part of the culture. He has his tentacles all throughout the club. He has people going into the club doing loads of different stuff that you don't see behind the scenes. That's not guilty by association. That's guilty. Guilty. Thank you, innocent man. Daniel Kretinsky owns Royal Mail. Then, if he's part of Sullivan's crew, demand that he get removed too, and all of the others get removed. Actually find out why he isn't doing anything and point at Daniel Kretinsky and say, hey, Kretinsky, mate, why are you on the board of West Ham United and not doing anything about DS being in charge? Why are you not protecting children? Why are you not safeguarding children? Hey, Edmund, I tell you what I'm going to do is after I finish here, I'm going to find Daniel Kretinsky's information and I'm going to get in touch with his people and I'm going to ask him for a quote of his support of David Sullivan and why he thinks the West Ham board are not doing enough. I will do that. You do it too, buddy. Try doing it too. The more people who do it, the better it is. You've read my message and still told me I'm complicit. Of course, I take it personally. I know, but cry about it. I'm going to keep telling you you're complicit until there's a load of people doing stuff about it. That's it. That's it. I'm sorry that some of you are a little upset by it. I know. And I know there is, of course, there's an element of rage bait attached to this. Of course it is. Of course, you're going to be angry, and I know you're going to be angry by me telling you that you're somewhat complicit because you're not doing anything about it vocally. And you disagree with that. A lot of people think the FA should do things about it, the Premier League, whatever. The fan channels should do something about it. The police should do something about it. No one's taking responsibility because for those people to do something about it, there needs to be a load of pressure. The reason Karen Brady stepped down is because behind the scenes there's a load of journalists like me who are putting pressure on. So we're continually putting pressure on. And the only way it changes at the ground level is if the fans start putting the pressure on. And what I'm seeing is them skating and skirting around things. They're trying to avoid it. And when I say to people that they should be seeing child protection as first and foremost the priority, they keep giving me all reasons why it's my fault. Why me saying child safeguarding should be a priority is my fault. That makes me bad. Saying child, that's the only message I'm putting out. And one day, there's going to be West Ham guys are going to be able to speak to me. The West Ham channels are going to be able to speak to me openly. And we're going to have this conversation. We're going to have a conversation. Why weren't people doing anything beforehand? And right now we're in this little area, which is just in between. We're just in between the lines. It's about to happen. It's been a long, hard one. I'm going to leave it there. That's a good over 2 hours. Maybe about 10 minutes where it cut out in the middle. Unfortunately, due to a crash I couldn't do anything about. I thank you all for coming. I know some of you are angry. I will next week. I'll be doing another live stream. I'll announce it well in advance. It'll be directly for the West Ham fans, and I'll set up so that you can call in and we can have a conversation. And if you want to have a conversation with me, you can. If you want to scream and shout, you can, and everything like that. You need to have conversations about this, but you need to have conversations with other West Ham supporters. I say, try having this conversation with women who support West Ham. See how quickly you change your mind, because that's another thing. I know that when men feel offended and you touch on their ego and their pride, they're likely to attack and say loads of shoot the messenger fallacy, whataboutism, any fallacy they can probably find. They can probably find to explain away. Women less so. Women will just say, "Oh yeah, protect the children. We should do something about it now." They cut out the crap. Unfortunately, culture and football and other things are usually built by mostly men, and not that that's a terrible thing. I'm a big fan of both sides, but a little bit of woman input, female input will change what I think a lot of people here will be thinking about it. If I have this conversation with women, they have a completely different response. I have this conversation with men, completely different response. Partially because I think women have had lots of experience throughout their life of people like David Sullivan. And they've had people like that try and convince them, try and cajole them, try and get them to do awful, terrible, horrible things. And 1 in 4 women, by the time they reach the age of 16 to 18, have been assaulted in serious ways. So they're much more likely or much less likely to be naive about it. And they also realize that pressure needs to be put on. And so I think there would be a different reaction from women than you get from men. But I do appreciate that this is a topic that makes people angry, that emotes people. I'm aware of that, and I know that I'm guilty to an extent. I'm actually guilty of emoting you a little bit on purpose, because you do need to talk about this. But the interesting thing is, when I've done that, the response I've got is a lot of people shooting the messenger. That happens again and again with my work, though. And if you want to actually find out what I do, if you want to find out a little bit about me, you can come on to Newspaste. Newspace.com, where you will find lots of my articles, and I write a lot of stuff. I do music. I write at the moment I've been writing Jeffrey Epstein podcast, the musical, which is quite fun. I do lots of podcasting. I go on lots of other people's shows, and I talk about a lot of work. A lot of my articles are extremely long form articles, and I'm trying to reduce them into easier ways for people to consume the content quicker, because they're so in depth. Some of my articles go from 7,000 to 15,000 words. They basically can be miniature books, but they always contain a lot of source material, a lot of links, so you can go and verify them yourself. You have to understand, my journalism isn't just me giving an opinion. If you go and read my articles, you'll realize basically I do university level thesis on evidence that has never been really looked into properly before, about things that affect us in more ways than one. And a lot of it can be, yes, I do a lot of work on the Epstein case, and I've done a lot of work exposing people like Junkerman, and I've done a lot of work on Klaus Schwab and other things. I was one of the first ones to be pushing forward and making, Tim Westwood case, that I pushed the BBC into having to act on that, and they eventually had to make a documentary because I was pushing them into it. That'll be a story that gets told one day, but I do a lot more work than you think. But I also have a lot of fun as well, and one of the things, like I say, I do is music. So I'm going to leave you right now with Greater Israel from the second Jeffrey Epstein podcast and musical. Hope you enjoy, and keep safe. I'll see you soon, and happy birthday to me tomorrow. Woo-hoo.
Jewish students dance on 9/11. Yitzhak Rabin dying on the floor. Goyim slaves being sold like they are cattle. It's time we start the final battle. Hello, your friend here, Leslie Wexner, Zionist warrior and child bikini seller. I've come back again to reflect on one of my most important projects. Iraq, it's a dangerous country. WMDs are 10 a penny. The Iraqi regime was set up to fail. Wouldn't you feel safer with Greater Israel? It's like Israel, but it's greater. There's a brand new temple. Ignore the haters. It'll be double the Jews for the price of one. And we'll all do a dance when the Mashiach comes. You can come. Get a deal. in the deserts of greater Israel. It's like Israel, but it's greater. There's a brand new temple. Ignore the haters, it'll be double the Jews for the price of one. And we'll all do a dance when the Mashiach comes, it's a fact. Iraq's a steal, soon it could be greater Israel. It's a complicated place. Saddam has a very angry face. The Iraqi regime is a terrorist state. Wouldn't you prefer greater Israel? It's like Israel, but it's greater. There's a brand new temple. Ignore the haters, it'll be double the Jews for the price of one. And we'll all do a dance when the Mashiach comes. It'll be double the Jews for the price of one. And we'll all do a dance when the Mashiach comes. We'll all do a dance when the Mashiach down in greater Israel. We'll all do a dance when the Mashiach comes. Downs to greater Israel.